making another delicious recipe for you. All these amazing, healthy ingredients. Sally, I'm going to call her my commie chef today.
I'm learning.
Okay. So now, today we're going to be doing a salmon dish.
Mm-hmm. Here it is, you can't actually see.
Yeah, so just this one is going to serve two. You can add anything to this to go with it. So if you want to add some whole grain rice, you can do some couscous.
Nice.
I would personally have this just as a meal without anything else really, or depending on how my day's gone, or it'd be amazing for a lunch as well.
Yeah.
So we've got, I'm going to be doing just a little bit of, so it's a sweet and smoky salmon dish with lots of like greens and tomatoes and things like that. So I've got some sweet smoked paprika. I'm going to add some fennel seeds in, because we spoke about that in one of our previous videos. And
Fennel's very good for digestion.
So, and I think fennel just goes so well with any kind of fish.
Yeah.
So I think those two will go really nice. Some lime juice. We can put just tiny splash of olive oil in as well, just to loosen it up a little bit. And then we're just going to that's going to be the topping for the salmon. And then we've got some tender stem broccoli, some spring onions, some mushrooms, some homegrown tomatoes.
Yes,
Sally.
You can from my kind neighbours.
Yeah, from your neighbours.
I do grow tomatoes myself.
Yeah, I've never grown tomatoes, but I love them. So one year I will 100%. I'm going to do it. But you can use just cherry tomatoes, whole. You can use any tomatoes that you want. I like the coloured ones as well, like the yellow and the heritage tomatoes.
And those mushrooms look like they chestnut.
These are chestnut mushrooms. Okay. So yeah, just slice. So we're going to be parboiling the tender stem broccoli, frying off everything else because we want that kind of texture.
Yeah.
To go with the salmon as well. We don't want everything.
Lovely.
Mummy. So let's get started.
Okay. So we're boiling a bit of water here.
Boiling a bit of water. Just for effect. Just to give Sally a bit of a steam facial.
I've got a job to do.
Right, so Sally, do you want to put the
yes,
tender stem broccoli in there, Mummy? As you're on the don't burn yourself on that side.
Yeah.
And then I'll just so we're going to just drain those, and then we're going to add that into the pan as well. So just a tiny little. I'm using rapeseed oil.
Okay. So when would you use rapeseed oil instead of olive oil?
I mean, to be honest, I would just. It just depends. To be honest, I just opened the cupboard and was like, whatever there. But it really doesn't matter. But if you can use, add extra virgin olive oil or rapeseed oil.
Yeah.
And then just a teaspoon of sweet smoked paprika. We'll do half a teaspoon of fennel seeds.
So obviously paprika's got a bit of a sort of warming aspect to it, which is good for us.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's so great for our health about eating oily fish is that it's really, really good for our brain and our joints and our immune system, because those omegas that are really healthy for you they actually form a kind of protective coating around the cell that stops pathogens from getting in. So this is a reason I've spoken before about why it's really important to actually eat healthy fats and not do low fat options.
Yeah.
Because
salmon is a perfect example, isn't it? Salmon and avocado.
Yeah, exactly.
And perfect examples of that.
It's just a really tasty fish. I eat salmon a lot. I also have quite a bit of, well, not loads, but I eat tin tuna as well. But I just love salmon. I think it's so tasty and it goes so nicely with different vegetables, doesn't it?
I think it's such a versatile fish as well. You can just put anything, I love it in Thai curries, anything like that as well. Just
or maybe we could do that.
Have it plain.
Yeah.
I could do it.
With lemon and spring onions, ginger,
beautiful. I love like a teriyaki salmon as well. Just that like sweet.
Yeah. I sometimes do. You can spread a teaspoon of pesto on the top of the salmon, and then you're actually supposed to then sprinkle parmesan on and grill it off at the end. But I don't normally have parmesan, so
parmesan's one of my favourites. I love that. Or a pesto and cream cheese together would be nice, and sweet breadcrumbs or something.
Yeah, those are all good ideas.
So I'm just going to
mix all that up together.
Pouring it on.
the broccoli's just gently
that's just bubbling away. So obviously we don't want that, you know, boiled or anything like that. It's literally just on a simmer, lightly, and we just basically all the vitamins in any vegetable that you do. You know, exactly. Just keep all the veg. So even if you wanted to steam it, you could do, but I'm literally just boiling it just for quickness, really. And we won't do it for as long. So I'm going to put the salmon in. So this will only need. In fact, actually, I'll just cut just to keep it that extra little bit of moisture. Okay. So just another layer of oil on. So that's
how hot is the oven?
20 minutes. So that's on at 180. So
okay. I normally do it about 200.
Do you?
Is that too hot?
It probably depends on the strength of your, like, this oven. Is a really, really strong oven. Okay. And yeah, I've done that before, and just I prefer, even if I had to turn it up at the end, I'd prefer to do it that way round. So
okay, I might try it on a lower temperature.
See what's going on. Right, so we've just got some
all our pre-prepped
veggies in here. So we'll just give the onions. That's going to take.
So why have you picked chestnut mushrooms? Is it for them all?
I prefer the woody flavour. The look of them.
Yeah, they bring a bit of different colour, don't they? And
I love shiitake mushrooms. They're one of my favourite mushrooms. But these are just standard that I would just have in my fridge. And again, they're just amazing for vitamin D and I think there's so many people that don't like mushrooms. And
well, I hated them when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
I just didn't like the sliminess.
Right. Of them. Okay.
But I do really like them now. So I think they're a nice thing to have, aren't they?
Again, you literally can just have them with anything and everything, can't you?
And they're very popular. You know, they're sort of used medicinally in Chinese medicine with herbs and things. So they are good.
Well, so just give you spring onions just a few minutes just to fry up, and then we'll go in with the tomatoes. We just want to get a little bit of
we're doing this
texture on those.
So is this pan on
this is on 6? So just a
medium high.
But everything I have is just so powerful, so I've had to kind of train myself to use everything. When I first got it, it took me a while because I've never had an induction hob before. But I've got it obviously down to a T now.
So normally, this is just going to be served on the side, is it?
I'm going to.
The salmon's not going to be ready while we're recording this.
We can.
Ordinarily, would you do this in the last sort of 5 to 10 minutes?
Probably, right. Or I would just get it to a point, turn it off, and then when the salmon's ready, just heat it back up, because we've got some spinach to finish off as well.
Okay.
And then I would literally, this is just going to be the bed underneath the salmon, and then stay on the top, and then you can have like your rice or whatever you wanted on the side.
I think rice is really nice with fish, isn't it? It's
absolutely.
It's kind of,
I'm really into my whole grain rice at the minute. I'm eating a lot.
So again, you want to have whole grain food as much as possible. I know you probably hear this all the time. And again, the reason is because it's got much more fibre in it that's going to help you have a healthy digestive system. So if I can talk about bowel movements for a second.
I was about to say,
sorry everybody, but this is an important, very important item.
We need this. We need to know.
The Chinese say that you should open your bowels after every meal. So that means obviously 3 times a day. Most people don't go anywhere near that much. But, and actually, quite often when I do a first consultation with a new client, they might say, oh, maybe every other day, every second, third day. That is not enough. And if you are not going at least once a day, preferably 2, you are almost definitely reabsorbing waste matter back into your system. And this is why we're seeing so many more people these days who've got intolerances and sensitivities, because in the lining of your gut or your intestines, which is called the microbiome, you might have heard that term, it's basically a kind of wall of bacteria. that is there to stop pathogens and toxins and, you know, unhealthy things from getting into your system.
Yeah.
And your body wants to be able just to extract the good stuff from your food and anything that you've absorbed and inhaled, and send that around your body to all your organs and where it needs to go. But unfortunately, lots of us, because the things that affect your microbiome negatively are things like stress, toxins, pollution, poor quality food, not getting enough sleep, if you've taken medication, even over-the-counter stuff, it all depletes your body of essential vitamins and minerals. So, you know, if you're somebody who regularly takes antacids or inhalers or antihistamines, obviously, if you have a histamine reaction, that means your body's struggling to sort of fight something off.
Yeah.
So what happens is that the lining of your stomach it should be like a tight, these sort of tight junctions like that, a bit like sprouting in between tiles. And when it gets affected by all the things I just listed, then the lining starts to sort of come apart and it gets these little gaps in it. So that means like bigger particles of food can get back into the bloodstream.
Because I learnt this from you a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So Soph and I met at a gym about 3 years ago.
Yeah,
or really good.
3-4 years ago now.
Yeah. And we just kind of hit it off, didn't we?
Yeah,
and then
we did.
Soph started coming for treatment. So I've been
she's
her ear.
She has been just amazing through, you know, people do just whatever struggles you've got to go through in life, and it's just, you know, feel like amazing just to be standing here now, just like doing this with you. I think it's just really nice.
It's better than
and I think it's just like, you know, you don't need a friendship that's been years and years and years and years, and what you can get just from a few years, I think it's amazing. So between us, we are, you know, we want to help other people as well.
Yeah, and help other women, because we're women. I'm 46, so I'm kind of getting into that perimenopause stage. Thank you so much for all this healthy food. And you're a mum of two.
Mum of two, just 2 boys as well. So that's that is a task in itself.
Yeah.
To handle.
So it's just, I suppose our goal with this really is to just give some easy tips, easy recipes, stuff that's easy to make for the family, nothing too wacky or out there that just somebody won't like eating, and very normal ingredients that you don't have to spend tons of money, spices that you probably have in your cupboard anyway. And just to make it a bit fun and a bit I think they say, don't they, that most people have about 6 dishes that they just make on repeat. I certainly agree with that, I think. So I am excited to kind of diversify my repertoire as well.
Well, I'm obviously not at that stage, because I'm now having to think about what other people would want to see, and actually that's quite hard sometimes, just to think, what do people want to see without actually asking?
Well, we can ask people if you're watching and you're thinking, I'd love to know how to make something lovely with tuna or chicken,
you know, or
tofu.
some of your favourite, like, that you want to incorporate into your diet, then 100%. I'd love just doing that sort of research. So if you've got any questions, then just ask. But I've added the broccoli in there now, and then we are literally just going to put over
all these
2 or 3
beautiful, lovely greens that alkalise our body and help keep pathogens and bacteria away.
Absolutely.
So what I was saying before about the lining of the gut is that if it starts to get a bit leaky, then bigger particles of food are going to get back into your bloodstream, and then your body thinks, hold on a minute, I've got an invader that shouldn't be here. So then it mounts this kind of immune response, and for some people it might be quite mild, and it may just manifest as something like having blocked sinuses a lot, or a constantly runny nose. You might have rashes, hives, eczema, psoriasis. You might have achy joints. You might get headaches. You know, I think often people think that when they've got a sensitivity to something or an allergy, obviously an intolerance and an allergy is very different to a sensitivity. So the allergy is the sort of people who are going to go into anaphylactic shock if they eat peanuts or whatever. But this is the thing, there's so many people who do have sensitivities, and I see it all the time in clinic that people come in and they've just been suffering with certain symptoms for years, and we start to normalize it because you just get used to not feeling quite right and to always having a bit of brain fog, or, you know, and obviously that is a big thing for menopausal women. And again, it's to do with the decreasing amount of antioxidants and the estrogen and progesterone. They are things that help the synapses in our brain to work properly, and the neurotransmitters. So obviously when those levels are declining, your clarity and speed of thought is not going to be what it was when you were in your teens and 20s and 30s. So you know, there's lots of ways that we can naturally help ourselves to just keep things on track and not slide into being an absolute husk of ourselves who just feels terrible every day. So yeah, and of course for fertility, which I'm also always saying, if your body is struggling to absorb nutrients, you're under lots of stress, you're not eating the right food, you're not getting enough sleep, all of that kind of stuff, it instantly steals energy from your reproductive system. It is that simple. Your body's not going to let you have a baby if it thinks, well, this isn't safe, this body's not a warm, good environment for me. So, and some people might say, well, yeah, but you know, my friend eats McDonald's all the time and she got pregnant or whatever. Yes, of course people do get pregnant, but they might have problems in their pregnancy, or they may conceive, but then
diabetes could arise, or
they could have miscarriages, or you know, the health of their baby might not be very good. And they say that the health blueprint of your baby is set in the first 6 to 8 weeks of pregnancy. So you don't want to be waiting until you've conceived to clear up your act and
I'm going to eat enough for my baby.
Exactly.
So it's always the before bit that,
and it's
really
actually
counts.
months before. I mean, you should be doing 3 to 6 months worth of, you know, really assessing everything about your health and your diet. And this is what I do on my signature program. So if you want to ask me about that, you can always just drop me a message, and happy to have a free discovery call with you about it. Because I want to help women to have healthy pregnancies and healthy babies. So right, this looks like it's pretty much done.
It is, so all we will do now is just obviously plate that up and add your salmon, which is well on the way.
Yeah, salmon doesn't take too
long. So and especially the size of those portions.
Awesome. So you might be able to just take a picture for us and post it alongside.
I will post a picture. And again, if you've got any other questions, then just let us know.
Yeah, put them in the comments. And yeah, if there's a fish that you would like us to do something with, or anything really. I'm quite keen on anything that's like a topping or a flavouring. That's different, because then, you know, I've always got salmon in my freezer.
And then
if I can just mix and match different toppings, and not always revert to my pesto answer, that would be good. Right.
Thinking caps on.
Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys. See you soon. Bye.